Yeah.
What do we have to do?
Waiting for you.
What time is it?
Yeah. I'd like to call to order the workshop meeting of March 26th for the Borough Council. Stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Ms. Provenza? Present. Mr. Flota?
Here.
Mayor Recupero?
Here.
President Suchovich?
Present.
Ms. Fred Zach Showalter?
Present.
Dr. Carpenter?
Present.
Mr. Jamelis?
Present.
Mr. Long?
Here. Any additional emergency agenda items? Okay, at this time, we have registered comments from the public. Tim Lind, a local artist.
And, just so everybody knows, Matt is on the call for this part of the, he's our engineer.
You come to the podium and state your, is it turned on? I don't even know if it was turned.
You know what? I bet they're not.
No. Sorry, I got it.
Now they are. Cool.
There you go.
I'm blonde. I can only remember 5 things at a time.
Delegate.
I delegated. I forgot that part.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Timothy Lind, and I am new to the area. I moved up here to Oakmont, right next door, 5 months ago. And in conversation with one of my neighbors, he said, if you're an artist, I think you might be able to help us out with a mural here in town. So I took a look at the mural right around the corner. I don't know what street that is.
Front Street?
Yeah, there you
About
go.
Cannon?
Yep.
Selby.
And in conversation with her, I don't even know his last name, but in conversation with him, I said, I will take a look at it, and I think it's something that I would be more than happy to refurbish. It's just a matter of making sure that we upgrade and patch it and then prime it properly in order to do proper justice to the existing mural. In conversation with Miss Redsack Showalter.
Wow.
Hey, you go. It took me 6 months.
Yeah. We tossed around a couple ideas about possibly speaking with one of the elementary school nearby, maybe getting some design work with them. If it came to the point where the town wanted to create a new mural. I had the idea of maybe just refurbishing it and maybe contacting the original artist who did the mural in the first place to see if they wanted to have any say in the matter too. So I didn't want to step on any toes here. I just, someone said maybe you should speak to the council as to making yourself available. So that's my role here, just to make myself available to see if I can help.
The original mural over there was done by the art teacher at Riverview, and the kids did it with her help.
Got it. Good.
It is in very bad shape. It's gonna probably all have to be scraped down, as you know, and repointed. Steps need to be, some of the steps need to be redone.
Sure.
And then, you have a clean slate after that.
Matt, can you talk to us about what needs to be done concrete wise?
Nah, there he goes.
Hear me?
Yep.
So I have to get over and measure the actual square footage of it. But on the surface areas, it would definitely get a heavy pressure washing to clean it all off and assess any damage areas under the paint. And then real similar to the process that Oakmont had done on the retaining wall by Plumstrick there a couple years ago. The areas of wall that are crumbling would be cut or jackhammered out, reformed and poured. There's a couple different products. one would go anywhere from feather to about an inch deep. Another product would go about 3 inches deep. So we'd have to assess how much of that repair area is there, and then take a look at the cracks. They have some injection molding that they could inject in there for the cracking, and then look at the stairs to see what those need to be done on those. So I do have the cost similar to what Oakmont just had done. I just have to get over there towards the end of this week to get some measurements to see exactly what it's going to cost us to get it prepared.
Do you have a ballpark, Matt?
So the thinner repairs, Oakmont's contract was about $54 a square foot. The deeper repairs were $120 a square foot. All said and done, when they paid their contractor, they had $32,000 into the deeper repairs, and they had 43,000 into the shallow repairs. 800 square feet of shallow repairs, 300 square feet of deep repairs. They also removed sections off of the top of the wall and re-poured them. That was at a pretty high price point. 1 second here. That was at $250 a lineal foot. So that jacked the price up, but all total, they spent almost $100,000 on that wall by Plum Street, and that was in 2020.
So Matt, we're not talking that big of an area, but we're still talking potentially a pretty good cost of the borough to get this done.
I haven't measured it yet, but just from driving by it, knowing the size, without having the solid measurements, I'd say that we're probably anywhere in the $20,000 to $40,000 range to do it the right way.
Right.
Okay.
Matt, could any of this be done in-house, or would we have to have a contractor to do this portion of the work?
I could talk
Like
with
the
the
pressure
guys.
washing?
Probably some of the prep work and the demo work could be done. It depends at that size, we'd have to bid it out. So depending on the contractor, they might not want to take the liability of someone else prepping it for them. But it's a possibility that the prep work could be done.
Okay. All right.
Does anybody have any questions? Mr. Lind or for Matt?
I will say right now, that's not what's in the budget to fix the wall.
Matt, are there any grants that might be applicable to this type?
Well,
of
there would
project?
be grants, but then we would be looking at an entire year. I'm just to be realistic,
Yeah,
to get a grant at this point, we'd be looking at.
oh, yeah,
a
you
year.
can't do, I'm just asking in general.
Yeah, their LSA would be available. We could probably look at some other. There is the turnaround. I mean, I'll be honest, never in a million years.
How much did we set aside for this circle over here on East Railroad?
$8,000.
We can divert, depending on what it costs, we can divert that money to there, but we definitely got to get that done for next year. And then the
I think
circle.
we need to get more definite pricing before we decide to what we're gonna do anything.
And I don't, yeah.
So,
I'll
a
go
couple
over there and
groups,
measure it up this week.
thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
A couple groups have expressed interest in contributing, American Legion and different groups like that. I didn't know if there was a way like the Derby that we could, create something where people could contribute.
And maybe we do that. I mean, even if you converted what we had for railroad, you're still not even close.
Do you remember off the top of your head how much we do have in the budget for the wall?
5,000.
I think at this point, my personal opinion, just me. I'm not opposed to looking into it, but until we can get some definite prices, we can't do nothing. Till we get some definite prices.
Matt, would it make sense to maybe talk to the guys about prepping it and pressure washing it and cleaning it regardless? Because At least it would clean it up a little bit, and later on down the line, that would be something less that the contractors have to do.
Well, if
I'll talk
anything,
with
at least make it look presentable for Memorial Day.
But yeah, I mean, it's gonna need done at least clean. And
Then,
paint
I
production.
mean, we have to look at the fact, that just so everybody knows, we're gonna have to rent the pressure washers and get all that stuff put together too. So I'm not gonna I don't wanna make a guarantee and say right here, right now, that on March and in May, it's gonna be done, because if I do that and I can't make that happen, I will feel horrible.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm just saying, because the big thing seems to be the push for Memorial Day, and I just don't wanna make that promise.
No.
Realistically, do you think this could be, if that's the ballpark range that we're looking at? Is that something you think we can realistically do this year
No.
with this budget?
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying, I know that last year, I think we pressure washed the pavilion sidewalk.
they
And
did
stuff.
that with, they did not do that with a professional pressure washer,
No.
they did that with like the pressure washer I have in my house.
Yeah, me too.
$100
from.
Yeah, they would have to get a professional one to do that, so we'd have to look in, I mean, I'm just being honest, I mean. My thought process is you could probably have all this done and do a big unveiling next Memorial Day, but not, and I never thought, never in a million years when it was brought up, did I think we were gonna be able to get this accomplished by this Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah.
I think we look at grants, right, Matt?
Only downfall with the grants, like you said, the LSA, which would be an eligible grant, they're not even looking to announce the ones that are already submitted until September at the earliest. So that would put us
So
in October, November resubmission date, and then next September award date. And those types of products are gonna be weather sensitive, so chances are, even if we were successful, it would be a 2026 project at that point. And just to back up what Stephanie was saying, realistically, even if we had a blank check in the budget, we're almost in April, so it would take a month to bid the project. So even if we had all the money set aside right now, we would be on a extremely tight time frame to even try to get it done before this Memorial Day.
My suggestion would be try to pursue grants, even though they're gonna take 2 years,
Yeah,
and not trying to get it done by Memorial Day. I know that's a very big wish, but at least try to get it clean sometime this summer, either by 4th of July or by, at the very least, Labor Day. So that way, at least there's flaking paint and stuff there that can just be washed away.
Matt and I and DB can work on that, I have no problems working on that, I don't want an unrealistic goal. I think, we brought this up late, kind of late. Didn't think about it at the time, didn't realize the cost by any stretches of the imagination. So now we have to kind of backtrack. But if you would hold on, that would be great, because we will need an artist.
Oh, it's been talked about for probably 8-9 years, that whole area that I
Oh,
redone.
they started in,
Well, the steps were crumbling
Yeah.
5-6 years ago, and it needs a big. A big.
And I mean, there is nothing that says you couldn't make it a community-wide goal project, Start raising some of the money. I mean, the more money you raise, the better off you're gonna be. So I think between, maybe community relations and myself and Matt, we can work on grants. A project where we could raise money through the community and do it that way. And I think it would be a pretty big deal. We're not having much luck with getting the banners put on the poles.
There's a lot of places like the Rotary Club that has graciously put the flags around the pavilion here, and then they added, I think,
Cannon.
24 new flags over by the cannon area, that if if we just talk to them about it, and told them what if we spruce up that area, that could potentially be more room for them to install more flags for the project.
And we look at what happens as we go along this summer and with other things too. I think that's absolutely, but I am loving the fact that you will help us out. If you will hang on.
I am here, when the call comes in and we continue this conversation, that's fine, that's good.
Is there anything you would suggest we do in the interim to make it look at all better?
Short of hanging banners up or tarps on it, I don't know if that looks better, if that looks cheesy.
Right.
Cheesy.
Yeah.
It really does.
See, Memorial Day is coming and we get a lot of complaints about it because we have a ceremony over there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sandra, let's.
And, you know, back to your point, you know, it'd be good maybe if you were to pressure wash, but then, you know, you are opening up a minor can of worms that if you can't address what you're cleaned up, so.
I mean, at least we have the doughboy there, at least we have the flags. I think, you know, I understand the complaints, but
Yeah.
we have a lot more than a lot of communities have for
Yeah.
Memorial Day, and I think we should celebrate that part.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
offer to help.
Can I ask you a huge favor?
Yes.
Can you, get me your contact information? I'll have Trish get me your contact information.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I can keep in contact. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to the area.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Come on now.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna open it up to comments from the public. For comments on public related items, please approach the podium or raise your virtual hand. Clearly state your name and address, limit your comment to 3 minutes. I don't see any virtual hands and nobody come to the podium, so. Comments from the advisory boards and commissions. The only thing I have is we discussed drafting a policy for the flags on the poles. We have a draft policy here. Flags will be displayed on the decorative light poles beginning the Friday before Memorial Day till the day after 7/11 or September 11th. I am not sure of these dates. We want to leave them up longer. I'm just worried about needing to replace them more often the longer they're up.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, and then we also have to look at the fact, and you had mentioned Veterans Day, I am in total agreement, except for the fact that that's when we start putting Christmas decorations up, so.
Well, how long does it take DPW to put these up and down? Do they say?
I haven't asked them, I mean, they do it and don't say a word to me, but, I mean, my argument was from the Friday before Memorial Day to September 11th, the sun's out. I mean, it's a little bit easier weather. When you start getting into November, you start getting a little rougher, and then you have to start replacing the flags, which comes at a cost to us. I am pleased, nobody here, take what I'm saying, I'm just being mean. And we start putting Christmas decorations up about that time, so they can be up before Jolly Jamboree. So that's why I said September 11th. If there's changes, please let me know. I will make sure they're up the Friday before Memorial Day,
We can always tweak
and we
this.
can tweak this as we go.
I was wondering if it made sense to remove the flags when they were hanging the holiday decorations.
That's what they usually, they usually take them down a little earlier. They will probably take them down because they're putting baskets up this year. They will probably take them down about the same time, not 100% sure. I can talk to them, but they know after last year and me being new that they have to go up the Friday before Memorial Day.
So I just have another question. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be hanging the baskets on May 20th. Would it be worthwhile for those 3 or 4 extra days once since they're already up there?
They said that it depends. The baskets are a little bit more work than the flags, so they may. We're still working on them. I mean, the baskets are going up. Nobody, you know, we lost our lift that used to help us put the baskets up because of idlers. So we're working on all of that right now, and I will talk to them as we go. So you may see them go up on the 20th. I'm not 100% sure.
This is just a,
This is just a.
they will
suggestion.
definitely be up by that day.
Yeah, I definitely want to make sure they're up by the parade.
Yes.
What about the flags on the Duquesne light poles? Did you look into that?
We
The
are looking-
military flag?
We are looking into that right now. We're not having a lot of luck. There is gonna be a cost associated with that, so we're waiting to find out what that's gonna be. Yes, Duquesne does not give their poles out free. They have a permit fee. I sent an email. Matt and I were working with one guy, he gave me another name, I sent another email today asking, and I still haven't heard back. And until I hear back from them, there's nothing we can do, because there actually is a form you have to fill out. So as soon as I get that, I will let everybody know.
Very good, thank you. Mayor, next up, Mayor?
Yeah, I just have real quick, 609 South Avenue, William Grill, he's handicapped, and he's requesting a handicap sign in front of his house. And I have all the information here. He does have everything from his doctor.
We'll put a motion on the April 9th, on April 9th. Because it's not on there.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Next up, Borough Manager.
Hold on just one second.
Yeah, we're gonna hold.
Just a couple things. Everybody, I did not print it out because it was lots and lots
73.
of pages. You have both the garbage contract that Matt and I would like to send out. And Matt, you're still here, right?
Yes.
For bid. And then he also sent you the bid from the previous. Does anybody have any major questions or concerns about this bid? Because Matt and I would like to get it out ASAP.
Looking at his outline of the changes or the whatever. It looks like there's a few things that we need to discuss and decide. Like he said, we need to determine a bid date, we need to determine when we'll let them know the extension, if not at the original contract.
That will all depend on when you guys tell us we can put it out.
Right, but I mean.
So if we put it out in the beginning of April, it's what, 2 weeks, Matt?
A minimum 14 days. Yeah.
Days.
Minimum.
And so those dates will all fall into place once.
Shall the.
Yeah, we just needed you guys to read it because, especially Nancy, you really wanted to see it. So we didn't put those dates in because we didn't have dates to go with.
Okay, so that one I understand, that's number 4. Number 2. Matt set it up with the 3-year contract and 2 additional 1-year contracts.
Yeah.
I
So
just
last
wonder if
time we jumped straight to a
Yeah.
5-year contract. So
Yeah.
we have the option that the base bid's a 3-year contract, and then we can wait until the 11th month of the 3rd year to let them know that we're going to give them a 4th year. So basically what that was questioning is, if we're going to wait, I would suggest giving ourselves 5 or 6 months to make that determination. So if we need to put it out the bid again, or my question was that based on bid prices, are we just going to let them know up front, hey, we're electing to give you the 4th and 5th year because your prices are good? Because
Well,
they're bidding the
just-
prices
well,
now, so I don't see any reason to necessarily wait. I guess the only reason would be if you got bad service. But I think there was, if you're getting service bad enough that you're not going to give them a 4th or 5th year, I think there would be ways to get out of the contract if service was that bad.
Are we allowed to make it a 2-year with 3 1-year extension?
They're not gonna bid at 2 years. They're gonna want that 3-year, knowing that there's some sense of
Really?
Guaranteed.
Do we know that?
guarantee.
You can make it whatever you want. typical standard, several communities and, Coriopolis was just one that bid one. A lot of them go with a 3-year standard with 2 additional optional years.
And the other side of the coin is, when you request dropping it to 2 years, you're asking the entire staff, the engineer, the lawyer, the solicitor, we would all have to do this basically every 5 minutes. So having 3 years gives us a little bit of wiggle room to see how it works, especially with the contract and the fact that we're moving the billing procedures over.
Okay, I just was asking if it was.
I think the 3-year and the 2-year options, good way to go. I have a couple questions too, related to that real quick. Matt, on the fuel upcharge. BFI, the fuel index, how's that determined? Is that done per month or how's that price determined? Is that something that we set? When we determine that formula? When we do BFI?
It was not determined yet because it would be determined monthly. So depending on when the bid opening is, that's gonna determine what that base fuel rate is. So whatever the average diesel price at the date of the opening, that's when it would be determined.
Okay,
And if we,
And isn't it
this is
20?
I'm sorry?
the fuel rate increase, that was just something that we've talked about. I mean, it's based off of like a PennDOT liquid fuels calculation. So if anyone sees anything that they would like to change about that, I'm all ears. It was just talking with several of the haulers. They like the idea. Chances are we probably won't have to use it the whole contract, but if something like COVID were to happen again where fuel prices spike 60-70%, they're
You don't want
able
them
to give us a better base rate, knowing that they're not going to have to eat that in the future.
And I can tell you, working with salt for streets, we've seen a decrease more than we've ever seen an increase.
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's something to look at. So, I mean, it starts at a certain rate and it has dropped like 3 times in the last year for us with salt.
my last question is recycling containers. If we opt for recycling. I mean, I know, I think Trish and I had a discussion about that. How's that work? Do we own the containers that we have here in Verona, or is that,
They belong to the homes.
they belong to the homes? Okay,
Yeah, that's one of the details we're still looking at. To get them personalized with the Verona stamped into the plastic, that's rather costly. I think talking to AJ, I think we have 4 or 5 sitting over by the in the garage by the salt shed that were either lost and found, or when people moved out of town, they dropped them off. So what we were looking at is possibly staying with the same color scheme, but in the future, if any new ones are needed, they just wouldn't have the Verona stamp in them, but they would still be the same gray and blue color scheme.
blue and gray, yeah.
You wouldn't have the great purple people eaters.
Yeah,
Yeah, you said in number 6, are you done, John?
yeah, I'm done.
You said in number 6, are we having the hauler bill a bill monthly or quarterly? 2 months billing,
It's gonna be quarterly,
okay.
because that's how we're billed with everything else.
Water
Yeah, well, we don't, there's no reason for us to change that.
Okay. Just,
Well, that's what I meant with that one is just our bills are going to be quarterly, but I was going to put it in the contract of how the hauler was supposed to bill the borough. I didn't know if we wanted to keep it quarterly or monthly. That's just something for Steph and I to work out.
I mean, some of this, with the billing and stuff, Matt and I and Teresa and Oakmont Water will be working on to make sure this, to get it all put together. The nice thing about it is, I know people have issues with county hauling and sometimes what they do. So whoever gets chosen, everything will be going through Oakmont Water. And we also have a better mechanism if they don't pay. And
Yes.
that's become a major issue.
Mhm.
So, we will, so we've already talked to Oakmont Water, we're already good with them. We're gonna be getting that all started in May.
In terms of the 10-bag max and one large item pickup, what do we have right now, Matt, in our current contract?
Right now, it's
Unlimited.
unlimited bags.
Ooh, okay,
Um,
and what about bulk item?
one per month.
One per month.
So that's the same. That's the same, one
Typically-
large item pick.
Correct. And then it also
And we-
includes, they call it like white goods, like dishwashers, washing machines, refrigerators. Typically, you just have to call ahead for those and they take those.
Okay,
We have to look at having unlimited bags increases costs unlimitedly, whereas having a set number. And I mean, 10 is is a fairly, it's a lot of garbage.
Yeah, I consulted with 3 different companies, just tossing around some of these ideas that we had to try to help curb cost. The biggest common denominator was the unlimited. Initially we tossed around 6 to 8 bags. They all seemed that 10 was a good compromise, going from unlimited to any number count. It seemed, I think 10 seems reasonable. Having 2 little kids at home, I typically only have 4 or 5 bags a week, so I think you have to be creating quite a bit of trash to hit that 10.
And
And
if you
it's
go
not a
over,
case.
I'm sorry, and if you go over, there's an overage charge, correct? Is that how that works?
We did not have that built in. The way we were kind of approaching it is if you go that 12th bag one time, they're not going to deny it. They're not sitting there counting the bags as they throw them in the truck. But if there's a repeat offender that has 14, 15 bags week after week, something's probably going to be said at that point.
I think I remember when we used to have waste management, it was 3 cans, 6 or 9 bags. There was a limit on it.
There should always be a limit on it.
It wasn't until we switched to county hauling that.
Oh, yeah, it's unlimited now.
I think,
They used to have them.
Right.
well, what about the thing about we're supposed to put all our garbage in garbage cans?
That's not us. That's
not
Penn
us.
Hills.
That's fine.
That used to be waste management.
You don't, there's no requirement that they will pick up garbage bags at this
Okay.
point.
Penn Hills over with all that new
I know,
big
but
cans and machines.
Once you go with automation, which it'll be a while before we get there, then yeah, everything has to go. Well, we have to put everything.
Mhm.
You dive
Thank
deep
you.
enough, there might be something in the borough code that says that you have to use a can, but it wouldn't be a designated can, and it's not something that the hauler regulates. It's just more to keep pests from ripping bags open.
That was the idea, yeah.
Very good. Does anybody have anything else for Matt? No other questions from anybody? Matt, do you have anything else?
No, that's all. I'll work with Stephanie to clean up some of those comments, and we'll get it ready to go. If everyone's okay with it, I don't think it was on the agenda tonight, but we could authorize to advertise at the
We
next
already
council.
authorized to advertise it at our March 12th meeting, so we're good to go.
March or
Thanks,
April.
Matt. Appreciate it. Thanks, appreciate all your input, Matt.
No problem.
Okay. Stephanie, you're up still.
We received a bid from Resnick for landscaping work. From what I can see, they've been doing your landscaping for quite a few years, and we tried to put it out in the bid the last few years, nobody responds, so. This year's bid is 96.56, which is about an 8% increase, which is not shocking. I got a 10% increase to get my lawn mowed, so I'm not shocked. So last year was 89.41.25. Unless anybody has any major questions or concerns in the next 2 weeks, it will go up for a motion on April 9th.
Thank you.
Are we happy with their work?
I'm happy with the fact they come every other week.
Well, I see them working all the time.
Yeah, I haven't heard any
I
complaints. Or
haven't heard.
Any
It's been
major-
A year or so since I've heard
Yeah,
complaint about.
And they have been responsive, you know.
Yeah.
yeah, they're very.
Time I think
Matt's
that's
really,
just trying to get a hold of them, but you got that rectified.
yeah, Matt's a good guy.
Yeah.
He seemed to have no problems.
Okay,
I completed the LGA intern. I completed the first round of interviews. We had 4 candidates. They were all great. I will be deciding on, a second interviews for next, probably the week after Easter. There's 2 candidates that I'm going towards, but, we'll finish those interviews on the 8th and hopefully have a decision by the 15th.
do you know what their project's gonna be?
It's the project that I gave to you. It's a strategic planning project. To help with the 5-year plan, working with the strategic planning.
Oh, cool, okay.
You have attached to your stuff is 2 memorandums of understanding. The one on top is new. The one on the bottom is from 2022. They are both for Steel City Railway. The 2022 memorandum of understanding will not go away. We will be adding on to that the 2024, and that's for the new accessible dock. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. We're working with Will from Steel City Rowing. And hopefully we can get all this passed by April 9th, so we can get this dock in and ready by June.
Very good, thank you.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have committee discussion items. Parks and Property, Mr. Floto.
I don't have anything at this time other than to announce our first Parks and Property meeting will be April 8th. At 6:30, 5:30?
5:30.
Right, another meeting, 6:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, April 8th at 5:30.
And I will have for Parks and Property, just so you know, the new fees. I'm working on the new fee schedule.
Very good, thank you.
So there'll be a Zoom link for that
Everything's on the calendar, on the website,
on
and
the
it's,
website?
and it's on the community site. It's been up for 2 weeks.
Zoom link for that committee meeting is only for,
Member.
I'm a committee member.
Yeah, there's,
this is not for,
yeah, there's, if it's a Zoom link for just a committee member, Vince will get that to you. But all the committees have been up for 2 weeks.
Very good, thank you. Thanks, Vince. Next up, Community Relations Committee, Mrs. Provenza.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Our next meeting is going to be the 3rd Monday, which is April 15th at 6 P.M. Meeting.
April 16th.
April 15th.
Yes.
Is it the 3rd Monday?
Yeah. And there is a link up online for that also.
Great, thank you.
Everything, Trish can tell you, everything's on the calendar. She downloaded the calendar today.
Very good, thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Finance, Mr. Long.
Nothing at this time, our first, our 3 quarterly meetings will be on. So, yeah.
Very good, thank you.
And just in case you didn't hear, they're gonna be quarterly. So that, because a lot of their meetings will happen very much.
Right.
Did we advertise that quarterly?
We did not, we advertised it monthly, we will cancel them. It was, Craig said it would be too confusing, but for finance, their reason to meet monthly, they meeting quarterly will give them the view of what each quarter looks like at the end of the budget, so they'll be able to look at what's over and under. And every meeting, first meeting of every business meeting, a financial statement is given for the month. So unless something major would come up before the budget is due, Tim and I discussed it. Just sitting there looking at the numbers isn't gonna, you know, quarterly is the most important. That's where we can see where the budget is falling short or falling, you know,
We can always have a finance meeting,
yeah.
and then discuss budget items. That part.
Okay, that's it?
Mhm.
Thank you. Next up, public safety, Ms. Dr. Carpenter.
Thank you. So we had a brief, very short, committee only, meeting on, what's the?
The
Yesterday.
25th.
Yeah, yesterday. And we just, started to get some ideas about goals and vision and all of that for this year for public safety. That's not completely determined yet. And also, we took a look at the option study done by ECD, took a little time to review that. And we heard from Sergeant Francos as well, a couple of things. So that's what we did yesterday. And regarding it was not Verona option survey, actually.
It's actually, that is what it's called. It's police service options for Verona Borough.
Police service, anyway, regardless. The report, so. This gentleman apparently has a PowerPoint presentation that goes along with this report that expands on the information in the report. So we need to decide about when we would like to hear from him. I thought the workshop for April, some other people were okay with that, some other people were not okay with that. So I'm opening that up for discussion.
I want to express my opinion first. I feel this is an option survey. This is a survey that has given us ideas. I think we should use this as a staff and as a council to look at those ideas. If we're gonna sit here and again have a meeting on hypotheticals, then we're not doing a service to us. We are not doing a service to the residents. And all we're doing is creating confusion and not speaking to any of the communities that are involved in this options makes us, it's just a bad view. The survey was written us to look at and to figure out. We are working on our police department right now, and I feel it's just more fodder for the press. So I am completely, it's my opinion, I'm completely 100% against this, and I think we need to wait until we figure out, especially since we're right in the middle of possibly hiring new police officers.
I agree. Definitely.
I think that we bad look. All around, all the options bad.
Stephanie, can you elaborate a bit more, your concerns about this affecting the long awaited for potential hiring of more than one full-time officer?
Mhm.
Do you think this could be something that?
I think this is a horrible look. I think I've spoken with the officers that are currently here and the officers who are looking at hiring. We have a gentleman who is looking at being hired, who basically was basically let go because of something like this. I think we got involved because somebody decided it was okay to tell everybody we were in the middle of an emergency. And instead of holding back for a little bit. I've spent, I think what they did is great for in-house. And I think we should be investigating this in-house. putting this out as a hypothetical to the public, when we haven't even talked to half the people on here, just makes us look desperate. We are literally working right now to build back a police department, and we're doing a very good job. Give the police department time, give us time, and maybe like, if we're still here in August, we bring it out. But right now, we're not there. And I have a very hard time with this, and this to me, I mean, my job is to make sure that we do what's best for the residents, not what's best just for council, and I don't think this is what's best for the residents yet, especially when we're working so hard on other items.
I think we're all on the same page there, but let's take a big picture perspective for a moment. Because prior to recently, just from viewing some of the trainings, and I'm sure there's been similar stuff recently at the Academy, I thought regionalizing was our only option.
Yeah.
But it sounds like we're starting to have some different
There are
options.
different options, and LGA pointed that out. There is contracting. You know, there is other options. I don't know if I right now am further from regionalization than I was when I started after going to LGA. I think there's other ideas. I think this is for us to try to figure out. And then come to the public and say, this is the decisions we've made.
If I may. So we have a two-tiered issue. The issue we have is the current problem. The current problem we have is our coverage. And being able to fill in these holes in our schedule, our police schedule, and making sure that we have the retention, you know, that we're able to keep the officers, not just have them, that we're able to keep them and keep them long term. The other issue we have is, what's our force gonna look like 5-10 years from now? And this is where we look at this versus, you know, if we build up our force
This,
and have, you know, and this is worth looking at,
yes,
and
I think it's
you
fabulous.
know, I don't see where it would be harmless, you know, per se, looking at it. We're not making any type of decision here. You know, we are working diligently to try to, you know, build up our force and hire officers and do everything. And I will say, from what I've seen at LGA, is that we have 955 boroughs in this state. And a lot of these townships are finding it harder to hire police officers, and they have been doing this.
And we are
You know?
we are all in the same boat, and I absolutely agree with it. This doesn't solve short term. This is a long-term plan.
Sure,
And what DCED did for us, which was I will admit, was the exact opposite than what we were told they were gonna do for us, and I apologize to DCED. This is great, but this is stuff that we need to take as personnel, as public safety, and begin to work on. And then when we come with a perfectly well-formed plan, we're ready. Just go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're taking the time to hire 2 full-timers and some part-time, your full-time first, they're gonna take you into what, 25 years?
Yes, Yeah.
At least till they retire, so that's what your investment is, and their investment is to you.
Mhm.
That's what your time frame is. So you have plenty of time, if we do finish this process, to look ahead after that.
Let's finish one process at a time.
I say, I've interviewed most of the police for the last two and a half years. I feel that a lot of these options in this package, they did a great job. I feel a lot of the options in the package aren't viable right now. I also feel that having interviewed a lot of these police officers in the last 2 years, that talking about this is seriously alienating Verona for hiring police officers. I wouldn't want to come work here
I didn't know.
if I didn't know if Verona was gonna have a police force in a year. I wouldn't want to work full-time here. I wouldn't want to start my pension here. If I go to council meetings and I hear that they might regionalize in a year, or they might contract work out in a year. And I have to say this, I'm interviewing every police officer that puts an application in. And I'm talking to these people, and I'm telling you, this is not helping us. You wanna know why we're not getting police? A lot of people don't wanna do the job anymore. And a lot of police don't wanna go work for a town that is gonna fold. This is serious, and the more we bring this up, the more you make the people who are interviewing police officers' job harder.
You know, all this came about, you know, several months ago when we were having a tough time finding anybody, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, you know,
But this
We
has
do
been
have
talked about for
some
5
candidates.
years, John.
Yeah,
We've been talking about trying to merge with Oakmont for a while. This is not something new. This happened way before I was on council.
and I think I would feel differently about this plan if every idea in this plan, I mean, it's greatly written, but every idea in this plan is the same ideas we've all had. And we're working on one of these plans. My argument is we need somebody besides the state to lean back on if something should happen. Whether that be contract, whoever we maybe contracting with somebody. But I think you need to give testing and these people a chance. There are people who are willing to work for us full time that might be making less money, but are willing to come here. And I think we need to give them time. And if we're gonna keep working in the hypotheticals, if we're gonna keep working for fodder for the media, we're never gonna get anywhere. And that's what we've done so far. So now it's time for us to say, look what we've done. And we're gonna work on this plan, we're gonna work on what Stamp says, and we're gonna get it done. And if we can't, and we need this gentleman to come in August, I'm thinking he's probably not gonna be mad at us about coming in August.
I mean, I got on council right when we raised taxes. And I wasn't here for the budget discussion before all of that. But I was there in January when we voted to raise taxes. And all the meetings after that, I was told we were raising taxes because we were severely deficient in being able to compete with other places as far as not only police, DPW, all of our employees. We didn't have enough. We needed to raise taxes to help fill our police force, to help pay our workers what they're worth. And that only happened 2 years ago. We have to, if we enact a plan, we have to see it through. We can't bail on it. And it seems like this is bailing. Like we raise taxes so we can start paying our officers what they
I
deserve.
wouldn't say we're bailing on it, I think we're exploring options.
So we
We're looking at different
haven't done what we said.
Yeah,
We raised taxes so we could make our officers more competitive with other towns. That doesn't happen in a year or two. We just negotiated contracts. We just started doing that. We have to follow through with that plan before we abandon it. That's what I mean.
We raise taxes for a variety of reasons.
But that was one of them. That was one.
And then maybe we have to look at public safety and what we do this year. But please don't cut our noses off to spite our faces at this point. That's all we're asking. Please give us a chance, because we feel like we're moving in the right direction. Just give us a chance. And, you know, that's all we're asking for at this point. If we're gonna have this guy in here in April, we're right back where we started and we're right back on WTA.
And I 100% agree with what Jerry said. This is what the mayor's been asking for 10 years.
10 years.
He's been wanting 2 full-time officers. We are in a position now where we can possibly get what the mayor's been requesting for 10 years. So.
well, you know,
Let's do
we're all in the same, I think we're all in the same, you know, we all have the same vision. That we want a strong police department. There's no question about that. We all see this, we see what's happening, you know, we're all concerned. You know, how do we get there? You know, and it's not the idea of, you know, just fixing right now, just putting a Band-Aid on the problem now. We wanna make sure that this force is strong now, and then it's strong in 5 years, and it's strong 10 years from now.
But put.
That's what we need to
but
find
you're-
out, and it's not just,
Yeah.
not, I mean, we're just looking at this right now, it doesn't mean we're,
But
you know, we're
putting
signing on.
somebody out there right now, speaking about this plan, is us saying, we have no ability to see where we are and where we're going.
Give it a chance.
Give it a chance, give
Sure.
give some time. This plan was created not by the ask of the borough manager. This plan was created behind me. And I just want a chance. We have worked so hard, Jerry and I and the mayor and Vince and John. Give us a chance. We're not saying that we're not looking at these options. We're just saying, having somebody come and talk to us in April basically pops our balloon. And what are we fighting for? That's all we're asking.
Dave, how do you feel about all this?
I understand both sides, I really do, I mean, I'm trying to build a police department, I've tried to build it for years, but I kept getting shot down. We don't need anybody and we're good, and yeah, look where we're at now. I do understand both sides. And, you know, there's no guarantee, even if we hire 1, 2 full-timers and, you know, several part-timers, there's no guarantee they're gonna stay. That's why I wanted to put in, you know, talk to Craig about putting in a contract, at least a 2-year contract for whoever we hire, you know, if it's, you know, full-time. Cause I mean, we could go right back to where we're at now, but I do understand. Maybe we should wait, you know, hearing all the options, you know, on this. But I wouldn't wait too long, and, you know, I don't think regionalization is the key for this, but, you know, to contract it out. It is in, I had put it in their contract that I told them to put it in the full-time officers, if anything did happen in the future, that we agree that they go with whoever. So in a sense, they wouldn't lose their job.
We're not asking you to postpone this till 3 years from now.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
that.
we're just literally asking for a few months.
I'm not saying, you know, postpone it for that long. You know, I wanna move on hiring these guys as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're working on that.
We're working on that right now.
We'll elaborate that in a few minutes.
Yeah,
So we probably can't. I'm not sure where the line is drawn in terms of, the sunshine and all that, I just wonder. If we are able budgetarily wise, to sustain the amount of police that we want,
we've already checked that.
so, but that may be something we can discuss.
It's already been talked.
It's already been talked about, checked, and looked at. We're
Okay,
good.
but I don't know the answer to.
I don't know the answer
It's
either.
yes. Because what you need to understand, we budget over $100,000 a year. You hire 3 more full-time officers, 2 more full-time officers, which is already budgeted for 2 new full-time officers, plus the money that's there. I have checked, rechecked, and double-checked. What I don't know, and what we will have to discuss, and this is up to Tim and Finance Committee and the Personnel Committee and everybody, about raising rates, but that's not the conversation I'm having
No,
tonight. Tonight I'm having, give us a chance. Give us a few more months, please.
So currently, our police force is roughly 40% of the budget.
Mhm.
If we're not paying 100K in overtime because of these hires, are we looking at less than 40%?
It's gonna be still around that, but what you're gonna have is a different police force. You're gonna have Jerry not working, how many hours did you work the last 2 weeks?
A lot.
A lot, and he did, he worked a lot. You're not gonna have, or a part-timer working 78 hours. You're gonna have a more balanced look, which means you're not gonna be paying Your overtime prices are time and a half. You're not gonna be paying time and a half, you're gonna be paying straight time. Everything's gonna go down, you put your health insurance is gonna go up, everything at the end of the day is built to balance out. We made sure to make sure it would balance out. There's a bonus to having maybe a third candidate for full-time. We'll figure that out as we go along. But there's money within the part-timers budget, but there's also money built in. We were to hire 2 full-time officers this year. So this is not,
You figure we're already in April.
we're already in April, yeah,
So the pay is basically washed from
yeah.
the overtime to hire new officers.
You're also
So
saving,
morale's gonna go.
Jerry will
I'm
be
sure
much happy.
Jerry's not gonna be angry about 80 hours a week.
And it's, you got a safer community.
Yeah,
Correct.
That and the cops aren't gonna be exhausted either.
Yeah.
You know,
I,
you have more alert cops.
I just wanna say that about all this, I think. We need, this is. We're on like a precipice, a fork in the road, and I would rather invest in Verona. That's what I wanna invest in, I wanna invest in Verona's police force, I don't wanna. Talk about regionalization, contracting, or that's investing in other police force and hoping that they can cover us. I've been in Verona my whole life, I wanna invest in Verona.
and I'm a firm believer that there are ways we can work this out, and that there are things we can do, and I think that as Verona residents, as much as these words will send some people. There is the ability to say, public safety is important, maybe we have to raise $500,000 to pay for public safety. Give bigger raises, make these guys pay, but I don't wanna give up. Before I even got a chance to start,
There's no doubt there's gonna be bumps in the road.
there's time,
We're going
trust
through
me.
bumps in the road now. I think the whole thing is, let's just sit back and let things fall into place for a while and see where they go.
Yeah, I mean. We have 2 big projects going on, we have STAMP, we have the option survey, both of which are wonderful. But. The options we can wait on, and I have no problem saying to DCD. Give us a few months, we appreciate, we wanna do some research. Some guy, I'm not even, I don't know where he's from, did research, he did great research, trust me, cause he did everything we knew. But let us do some too.
So you're proposing August based on the stamp will be basically completed by then?
I'm saying August because by then we'll have a better idea of where we are with officers. And we'll have a better idea of what a proposed budget's gonna look like for next year.
There's no doubt we can bring this up again and look at it if it doesn't, if everything falls through.
Yeah.
There's too many available, it's the chief.
Yeah.
It's some of the other.
Right, there's just so many bumps in the road.
officers. If the merger plan is sound and everybody makes out for it, like myself and the other officers get a job and everything else. Yes, but why are we killing ourselves going through this process if we're not?
Well, it's not even, it's really not even a process. We don't even know what the process is.
Yeah.
That's why you know,
And
you
the
have to even.
problem was,
That's the problem.
No, but for the.
I have more questions than answers on that thing. That's why.
the problem was, there was a knee-jerk reaction
Right.
to what happened.
Yeah.
Somebody decided this was an emergency.
Well, it is an emergency, I
But-
mean, you can't have these guys,
Wait,
working all these
Wait.
hours.
That's not what I was saying. But what we did was, we went right towards regionalization without stopping and picking up all the pieces.
We all looked at our options,
What?
nobody was coming in, we had
It's
no.
It's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad
I
thing.
mean, but the thing is,
If you.
right now, we're at a point where we do have some applicants, some really good candidates. So perhaps, maybe we can, wait a little bit.
Wait till, see what happens, and in the fall, we
We'll
can
talk about
reintroduce
it.
about it, yeah.
And what Stephanie said is, it's very valid, like. We have this. It has a bunch of options in it. And none of the people that are in this even know that they're one of the options.
Right.
So I think that might be, in the meantime, that's what needs to be done. Like, a lot of these options, the price tag on them might be astronomical to the point where we couldn't even ever afford it. So we could throw that out, that's what we have to narrow down any of these options in this pack. A lot of them are probably gonna be ruled out right off the bat.
The thing is, they're not even listing all the options.
No,
There were other options that.
Yeah,
we keep,
option
you know,
10, 11,
Yeah,
yeah.
so they're not
These are
even
just
listing all the
top
options.
5, yeah.
There are other options.
there are absolutely other options, but nobody, you know,
Yeah,
but nobody, look, right now, we're looking at Jerry, you know, Jerry and I are looking at Verona right now.
Well, even if we make a stronger department, it makes us more invitable to come talk to about merging. You have the option of the manpower to make detectives, traffic units, juvenile officers, you have all that. Right now, you have 3 guys.
No.
You know, we had two unfortunate emergencies that really threw us into a tailspin. I think what I'm more proud about is how well these guys have been getting us through that, and I think we should give them a chance.
So prior to this conversation, I was in the camp of wanting to explore all options 100%. I don't think any of us really realized we were gonna have this many promising applicants come through, and I really wanted the public to know that we were invested in doing what is the best in terms of our public safety. It sounds like we are, like Ben said, at kind of a crossroads here where we may have the option to rebuild Verona's police department, which we haven't had in decades, Mayor, or to potentially pursue regionalization. I do like what Sergeant Francos has been adding in here about regardless, we could be in a stronger position to be a candidate for regionalization. My concern is not having explored this option until August, is do we lose some opportunities? But
None of
I'm
these
really
people know
deferring
they
here
have
to
this
the,
opportunity.
I'm really gonna defer here to the mayor and Sergeant Francos. If both of you are in agreement that you don't think there's harm being done to wait to August, I am okay with it. But honestly, I was struggling with April because I do want to know more, not that we're going to do it, but I don't see any harm in gathering as much information as soon as possible.
Well, I'm very glad we're getting applicants. It's just that, you know, all of a sudden now we're getting applicants.
Yeah.
Where were they, 5 years ago? Where were they 7 years ago? A year ago? All of a sudden now we're getting them, and we've been, supposedly we've been advertising, and all of a sudden we're starting to, infiltrate. We really don't pay no money, and I've been fighting that part too, and I understand the financial situation. The money from other small towns, they're probably about $15,000 to $20,000 more that they're making than these guys are. I want to definitely build a department, but my responsibility is public safety too, to explore all options.
They probably have no problems in this town.
I have no problem with bringing these guys in. If we're gonna hire 2 guys, that's a start. Let's see where they go in the next, few months. Hopefully they stay. I mean, I've been here 34 years. We've hired people, they came, they got their number, then they would leave. And I want to put a stop to that. They use Verona for a launching point to go to a bigger community.
That's more than part-time too.
That's
And
more.
that's what we're working on.
No, it's full-time too in the past before you were here.
Well,
They would do that.
and that's the retention part that we need to
That's
talk
what we
about,
have to work on.
I mean, we can go all night on this, and I agree, I agree with both sides, but let's see let's get these guys in here, get them tested, and hopefully, they both pass the test, let's get them on the road. And then we'll start building from there, and we'll see how we are in, come June, July. We'll take us several months, every 2 months, and see if we're starting to build, you know what I mean?
Okay, so take a pulse every 2 months.
Yeah, let's reevaluate every 2 months.
Look at this again.
I don't think anybody's saying crap can is. I think you're.
Yeah.
Just keep talking, like,
Yeah.
the whole thing is our job as council members is to do the homework. We can't just keep trading people in front of us to give the answers to the people. We have to go find the answers first. We can't keep presenting things to the public that we know nothing about.
Yep.
Because then we look like idiots.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, at the end of the day, if you can't answer the questions that people have for us, then we're the idiots, we don't deserve to be here.
Prepared.
Why,
We need to prepare ourselves before we do
Yeah.
anything, so before we present anything to the public, do your homework.
I don't,
To me, this is the home.
that isn't the homework.
You
To
gotta do
me,
it.
that
You
is
gotta do your own homework.
spoon feeding us information that we already knew.
Okay, the consensus is that, we're going to continue, building our own department.
Right.
And this is something we can fall back on if we have to. I mean, that's the bottom line.
And there's no
In my
reason
opinion,
that, if there's a few people that wanna sit down and talk to these people about this and get some more info about it, like Tim said.
I mean, that's definitely.
There's one group we're already talking to
Right,
that's on
right,
this
right.
list.
So I'm just saying, so
Yeah.
we're
There is.
going around,
Yeah, there is.
we're going around beating the,
Yes.
we're beating a dead horse right now. I mean, everybody knows what they're,
I don't think this is beating a dead horse, I think this is important.
no, I'm just saying, but it's now starting to get repetitious. I think the mayor was just trying to say, hey,
I hear what the mayor is saying, I wasn't sure that was the consensus, Sylvia, I don't know if you quite weighed in.
I'm listening to what Dave's saying. Dave, you're in charge of the police. You are the number one.
You're
person.
absolutely right.
Right.
So that's why I asked you, who do you feel? Why do we have to railroad this in right away? Can we just wait, like you said? I feel we should do the way you're thinking. Give these people a chance, but put them under a 2-year contract.
Well, that'll be, we'll
That-
yeah, we'll
that's
work
really
on that.
important Right there,
Exactly.
at the very day one.
What's that?
That's not how that works.
That's not how that works. You can't do that.
The contract is a
Yeah,
contract.
yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of the part-timers. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the part-timers. Yeah. 'Cause I'm tired of them coming here and then leaving.
Listen, I'll sit in with these meetings and hear what they have to say, but and give the police input, like what we need.
When can you?
But
get
I'm
to
still
your
gonna
part?
fight for both sides.
Part-timers.
Part-time.
I wasn't thinking straight. It's the part-timers. Full-timers, they'll go in with their contract.
Yeah.
Contract.
Well, we're working on their own agreement for them, so that makes it easy.
Right, we've already met on that.
Yeah.
So I hear the consensus and obviously I'm gonna go with the consensus, but I also heard someone say, let's check back on this every couple of months.
I said that. Let's see where we're at. Let's see how.
So we're at the end of March, so that would be April, May, so the beginning of June.
June,
Or the end of May, but that may take the pulse of what's going on.
But what I do ask, that if we do this again, if we go around the borough manager. And I'm the one who gets screamed at. That promise me that will never happen again,
well, everything should go through the borough manager.
because I was the one who
Or
got
everything for the police should go through the mayor
ringed
and then the borough manager.
about what just occurred, and I wanna make sure that everybody understands. I didn't know. And I don't like that feeling.
Well, none of us knew about what you and Craig had,
Yes, you did.
When, I didn't know nothing about that until you
We're
said that.
getting on the edge here, of
No,
what we,
Okay,
this is.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that wasn't our intention for anyone. We wanna work together, everything should go through the borough manager.
Can I get added to the emails for the studies and all that?
yeah, I'm gonna send it to you right now, Jared.
Jerry, you're on board with that consensus to check back in?
I will come and listen and give the police view of it and take the information.
exactly. You give the feedback on how these guys are doing, whoever we may hire, and we'll see where we're going from there and continue to bring applicants in, hopefully for part-time. We need at least 7 guys, if not more, to cover the shifts.
I mean, both sides are good. I mean, a full-time department with all our own guys emerging, like I said, Northern Regional, look at Northern Regional. They went from like 4 or 5 different departments to one major department with a SWAT team, juvenile detectives, traffic division. And then, that'd be another option. And if we make the department bigger and better, that would be benefit everybody.
Right.
So we're all good with putting it on a side burner for 2-3 months to.
Reevaluate it.
Two months.
2 or 3 months, Stephanie had said August, somebody else said 2 months. Let's just reevaluate in a few months, it doesn't have to be exactly 2 months.
2 months sounds good.
Let's see how the
May
How the-
28th.
hiring is going and how that starts going.
Very, have these people passed their
They're
background check?
Just the initial, like, first interview part of it. I don't dig into the criminal stuff till after they're testing and that, before their second interview.
Oh, you do that after the test?
I'll do that, yeah, because they have to sign off on stuff and everything else.
That doesn't take that long though, does it?
They, and we have their testing, Mary knows that she needs to pick up the second application and we have to test.
Yes, I've talked to Mary, yeah.
We may have a third too. We
Yes,
have to look into that one.
yes, we will be talking about that one.
Is that all you have, Nancy?
Yes.
Yeah, very good, thank you. Next up, Strategic Planning Committee, Ms. Redzek Showalter.
Thank you, Mr. President. Like many of us, I just wanted to announce our April meeting is, it'll be the third Wednesday of the month, but in April, it'll actually be at 12 o'clock. After April, it'll be at 4 p.m. Here in the Borough Building and online as well.
And, oh, it is gonna be here at the Borough Building?
Hybrid.
Okay, yeah. And that guy in ACED is coming in April, I think.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
For what, can I ask for what?
I don't know exactly.
Nancy just been sharing some resources that I think.
Who were we just talking about?
I'm done.
You can do what she wants.
Everything goes to the borough manager. We've been trying to stress that.
Even, you're not even allowed to go look for grants unless you.
No, with all due respect, it's just sharing information. I don't even know if he's coming in person, but I think it's just
He's
information
not.
that was covered.
Well, that's what she just said, she's coming.
I think there may have been a misspeak, but we will be exploring resources that was first offered through local government academy. Being a new committee, I'm very open.
And what are these for? These, what's he gonna be sharing?
Literally on what this committee is about, strategic planning. Like Stephanie mentioned earlier, we're hoping to intersect with the new LGA intern. And yeah,
That's
resources.
what they're gonna be doing, the LGA intern.
Right, that will be a primary focus, so, yeah, so we're in the resource gathering and reviewing stage, and then we'll be setting some goals with that, so. Thank you, Nancy, thank you all.
Very good. Is that it?
Yep.
Thank you. Next up, Personnel Committee, Mr. Jamel.
Thank you, Mr. President. So update on the current interview process. We interviewed, since I started on the committee, we interviewed, 2 strong candidates. You know, they're both, really excellent, candidates. And wanted to, ask to see if we could go ahead and proceed on, ordering tests.
That's not, that goes to civil service, civil
Yes.
service has already done that.
Yeah, so, but I wanted to ask if we could go ahead and just refer them to civil service.
They've already been referred,
Okay.
all full-time officers are automatically referred to civil.
Okay. The other, item on the agenda, the, proposal for part-time police, I submitted, the proposal, a couple of weeks ago that we're still waiting on, Craig to come back. There was a couple of questions we had, on some items, related to, some, stuff related to their, part-time, legal stuff related to their employment. So, we're waiting to hear back on that. Other than that, on April 17th will be our, first, official public meeting, at 6 p.m., April 17th.
Busy week.
Yeah, busy week.
That's
That's
it?
it, that's it.
Very good, thank you. We have no action items. Next up is announcements and information. This is Provenza.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. We'll start with newsletter. We're currently working on the summer edition of the newsletter, and that covers June, July, and August. For the ads and articles, they are due Wednesday, May the 1st. And for articles, please contact Donald Wharf at veronanewsroom@gmail.com or at 412-828-3607. And for the ads, I can be reached at 412-828-7726. Chamber of Commerce, we will have our next meeting on Tuesday, April 16th at 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. The Easter egg hunt's going to be this Saturday at 11 a.m. Alice in Wonderland is going to be one of our guests here that will greet the children. And also the children's train went over very big, so we're having them back again. And this will give the little ones something fun to do. And the grand finale will be the Easter Bunny arriving on our Verona Fire Department fire truck. So an invitation to everyone, please come, please bring your children, it'll be a fun day. Also, in closing, the chamber is currently taking applications for board members and also new members. Twin Borough Ministries, the next community dinner will be held tomorrow, the 27th, at the Methodist Church. And meals are going to be prepared by Riverside Community Church and hosted by our Methodist Church. Historical Society, the next meeting is going to be held next Thursday, April the 8th, held Thursday, April the 18th, 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. And Madison from the Heinz History Center will be speaking on women and sports in Western Pennsylvania. All are welcome and do bring a friend with you. Along. The next event that's coming up will be in Hershey, PA, and it's in conjunction with the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs and Along. And it will be held on this will be their 112th annual conference and exhibition. And it's going to be, as I mentioned, in Hershey, PA from June 2nd to June the 5th. And accommodations are being held at the Hershey Lodge. And the deadline to book those is Wednesday, April 24th. And if you have any questions, I have a phone number here from Mary Weller. And her phone number is 1-717-216-7526. And she is at extension 1026. And if you have any questions or comments on anything I've reported, I'll be glad to answer them. And if not, this concludes my reports, and I thank you.
I have one more announcement. The tickets are here, parking tickets, state citations, they all have arrived. And Annette will begin doing street sweeping tickets on April 8th. She's putting out warnings for the next 2 weeks. So we're warning you all now.
She's in her glory, so welcome.
She is very, very happy. So I'm just gonna remind you, watch those signs because she has no mercy right now.
Baggage.
She is excited.
April the 8th.
April the 8th, she's gonna put warning, I told her she had to put warnings out for the next 2 weeks.
Because I do.
Very good, thank you. COG is tomorrow night, I'll be going to that. Nothing special come up last meeting other than the approval of all the UCC and the IPMC appeals codes that we approved last month. Anything to present, I'll report that tomorrow night. At this time, we'll take comments from the public. Come to the podium or raise your virtual hand. State your name and address.
Hi, it's Sherry, Boulevard 759. I wasn't gonna say anything, but this whole police talk, I just want to say, as a business owner and my father lives here, there's nothing more important to me than public safety. And we have, I have a family member, they're police, you're asking these people to put their life on the line every single day. And I think they deserve pay, nothing is more important than firemen and policemen as far as I'm concerned. We're a small community, I've been here for 18 years. We feel very safe in this community. However, let's not take that for granted. The reason we have a safe community is because the people sitting, Officer Franco, the other police that's been here. Recently, I had to decorate an event at the Duquesne Club downtown. And the guy was parking behind me, had a gun on his waist. He said he was attacked by a homeless person. And when I was talking to some people downtown, they're all open, there's more open carry now in downtown Pittsburgh because lack of police force. And we have a community policing here. These people knows who our people, who our residents are, they know where the trouble spots is. You're probably not gonna get that if you bring police force from other places. And I think that is so important. I believe you talk to any business owners. And I just don't want us to take for granted that that the fact that we have a safe community, that happens for a reason. And I have to give the firemen a lot of kudos too, because that happens for a reason too. We have to give our police respect, no matter what the culture is. I can see in the general political trend now, we went from defund the police, now we're funding the police. So when we're sleeping at night, these people are patrolling and making sure our community is safe. So I just wanna make sure I say that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. And just so you know, we are not taking this public safety bill lightly. Everybody's very concerned about it. So, thank you. Anybody else? I don't see any virtual hands.
Hello?
This time I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
So moved by Mr. Long, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Happy Easter.
Oh,
Hey, we open at 10 o'clock, tailgate for the Easter egg hunt, so.
Steph, we forgot to mention we want to have an exec session. Can't do it now.
Can't do it now. You made it in the meeting. Can you resend it?
You can, I think